Okay, welcome to the Ultra Running Sam podcast, but with a difference.
Yeah, welcome to the Ultra Running Sam podcast. We have here our podcaster in residence for the Spine Week. Bringing you all the updates from the inside.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This is obviously the best time of the year, favourite week of the year, Spinemas, as I like to call it. So the purpose of this podcast in residence basically is that all through the week we're going to be bringing you interviews, behind the scenes interviews on course possibly, with all the runners, and also sort of behind the scenes with people involved with the race, and trying to sort of put out some content as the week goes on. What do you think that we're going to achieve with this, Will?
I think you are going to gather a lot of epic stuff over the next week. We've got an incredibly exciting set of races. We've got some very spiny conditions, and I'm looking forward to what you get up to, pal.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So this is it. Stay tuned, and every couple of days we'll be putting out a podcast, hopefully, and just see what the week brings. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thanks.
It's Monday morning at the Spine Race, so welcome to the Ultra Running Sam podcast in residence at the Spine Race for the week. So Monday morning, we now have our finishers, our podium finishers for this Challenger South race. So obviously overnight there was a bit of attrition. Mark Derbyshire and Rupert Allison unfortunately dropped from the front of the race, which leaves our podium in this position. So we had in first place James Allen, second was Mark Potts, and third Sam Tansley. In the women's race we had Alice Kershaw taking the win. Shout out to Alice, long time listener of the podcast. In joint second place we had Alison Love and Charlotte Black. So firstly, let's hear from the men as they talk about their race.
So how has it been?
Really hard. Like, I thought I'd be quite comfortably under 30 hours before the snow came down. That was my target going into the race. And so to win it with a time of 35, 36?
Apparently it's slowest second slowest time of a win. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
You know, like being in front of, at the front of the race, and I had a couple of 2 separate hours where I covered 2 kilometres in an hour.
Wow.
So,
but that having that record of second slowest, fastest is nothing to do with your ability. That's literally the course conditions are that bad that even those 2 guys at the front couldn't hack it.
I think it was, and to be fair, big credit to them, because if they hadn't been there and I'd been at the front from the start, I would have dropped out, But they did a lot of work, knocking through paths that I didn't have to, and that kept me a bit fresher for the second half. But
what was the worst bit then? If we're talking about bad sections,
I could honestly pick 5 or 6.
What stood out the most?
The worst bit probably was just after. This is a different worst bit to what I just said there. But just after Rupert and Mark dropped out, there was kind of I was joking, saying, "Oh no, I'm going to have to do this kind of trail breaking stuff myself now." And then within 20 minutes, up on I can't remember the name of the mall, but it's the one that you cover before you drop down into Cowley. I got up there and looked out, and it was a seamless bed of white. There wasn't a crinkle where there might be a path.
Amazing.
And every step was, am I going to go through? Am I going to stay on top? And you just can't build any rhythm at all. You move incredibly slowly, and it's just the most kind of mentally and physically taxing kind of action. And I was probably within an inch of dropping out myself. I got up there and I thought, this might actually be impossible.
But you did it.
I thought I'll drop out in Cowley instead if I hate it.
What was the best bit then? You must have had a highlight.
It was
getting here.
yeah, not having to do Ben again probably. I really liked the first 15 miles, just seeing the Peak District in those conditions.
Beautiful.
Like, you know, the sunrise was amazing. The running was absolutely brilliant before you started hitting the kind of crusty stuff. And yeah, there'll be some others, but the whole thing feels like such a blur because it was such a long period of time.
It's hard to process, isn't it? You'll start looking back as the week goes on, and you'll remember stuff, and it'll all come back to you.
Yeah, it definitely feels like there's like different episodes almost. You know, there's like the Fountains Fell bit, and then there's the more above the plate.
What about Penny Ghent?
I was glad not to be going up. Yeah, it looked pretty frightful. But then, yeah, to be fair, so was Fountains Fell. You know, trying to again break trail is just the most taxing and unrewarding thing you can do, really. So,
well, you've done amazing, mate, and I don't want to tire you out by talking to you too much. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Right, Mark Potts, second place. How do you feel?
I'm elated to finish. I thought, well, there was times I really wasn't enjoying it, and I really wanted it to be over. But it's always when you stop, you think that was great. That was really great. I don't mean great as in I want to be back in like the snowdrifts, but just the overall experience. Loved it. Yeah, really good.
So, obviously, two guys at the front, they were doing a bit of hard work by bashing it down. What was it like once they disappeared out of the way?
Yeah, so that was like in the middle of the night, but like between Hebden and Lothersdale, when I'd previously been following a few footsteps, and then it just went on like James's footsteps, and I went my own way, and that's when my problem started, because you're like on the moor, like collapsing with every step, thinking, should I just lie here? Should I just stay there? Stay there? But you can't, can you? So you get up. But then it got worse. It got worse. But,
did you ever feel like you could have just lay in the snow and had a little? Did your sleep deprivation get to you?
No. I'm okay. Always okay for one night. When I do like that, the main spine, it's always the second night that gets me. But I think this time, because even though it was getting to the second night by the time I finished, because you knew you were finishing, it kind of keeps you going. Yeah, and you were having to concentrate as well because you couldn't see where I was going. So.
We did amazing. Yeah.
Thank you.
What were your sort of lowest points and highest points, if you can think of them? They might change as time goes on.
The lowest was Fountains Fell, because I was thrashing around in some snow, literally like a beach whale. Couldn't get out of it, getting freezing cold. Got to the top, I was worn out, and you know when you just crash, you completely crash. And I thought, I'm not even sure I can continue. So that was probably the lowest point. Highlights. Coming over Kinder on Saturday morning in the blue sky, like firm runnable paths before it went to hell on Bleak Low. That was lovely. But as was like some of the nighttime stuff as well, where the snow was firm. Really nice running.
Yeah, amazing.
And meeting people as well. I mean, I love it when you come here and they're just like, you know so many people if you've done the races a few times.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. The Spine family, extended family. Well, you look good. They're saying you've had a battle on your hands. You look quite sprightly. And you changed already, and you're ready to go. So what's the plan now? Just get to bed. Yeah. Do you think you'll sleep?
No. It'll hurt too much.
Your legs will still going. Yeah. And the lights. You see lights at night when you go to sleep?
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm feeling quite faint, so I'm going to sit down.
Sit down. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate the interview. Cheers, mate. How are we feeling?
Yeah, tired. It's been a long couple of days. Yeah. Just when I heard that Mark and Rupert had dropped out, it was just like I just got it in my head then that I had to do it. Even I weren't feeling good, to be honest, at that point, and I don't know where I got it from, but I just kind of.
It's amazing, isn't it? Just when you're feeling like you can't really go on much, and then you get a bit of good news like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it just spurs you on.
I suppose it's kind of like seeing someone out on the course or whatever, just get that little pick me. That's all you need sometimes.
It's like when you catch somebody in a race, isn't it? You might be feeling a bit rough, and then you just see somebody in the distance, and suddenly you've got the energy to go get them, don't you? Yeah, amazing. What were your highlights and lowlights?
The highlight was probably like that, having that energy to like kind of crack on then. And the first half of it as well. There was 4 of us. Mark was there briefly, I think, and it was just a good laugh. Yeah, just having a chat and stuff and running. Yeah, it was nice. Yeah. And then the low point was probably every bit of deep snow. So bleak low, coming off ladder lots. Fountains Fell was horrid.
Everyone said the same.
Like hats off to James for smashing his way through it. Even though it weren't always on the track, but kind of looked down at your watch and like miles away, but never mind. I'd rather stand in his steps than make my own. Yeah.
What happened with your watch? Did your watch die?
Yeah, it died, yeah. I didn't expect him being out there that long, to be honest.
I don't think anyone's expecting to be out there for a long time. Yeah. Did you got the route? Obviously, got the route on your.
That's kind of what I rely on. I just thought like thrust for the last few, and then I swapped my. I had a Silverhead torch on. But it was just really on top of High Cam Road. It was pretty foggy and it was just glaring. So I think the Phoenix one's a bit better for that kind of thing. So I swapped over. But then I didn't put a spare battery in, so halfway down, everything just went pitch black.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
But never mind. Yeah, the last couple of hours I made some pretty bad decisions, just stopping for random things like.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
Yeah, and it was freezing up there as well.
Sleep deprivation.
Yeah, exactly.
That section, the Cam High Road, just seems to go on forever, doesn't it?
Yeah, that was the only bit that I've not recce'd because someone said like, don't bother because it's boring.
Yeah.
I wish I had now. Because I'm like, surely it can't be this long. I'm like checking everything to see if I'd gone on for too long because someone said there's like a left turn.
Yeah, there's a funny turn in there. Yeah. Because that's always the danger, isn't it? Is that you keep going and you keep going, waiting for a turn or something, aren't you? And it doesn't come and you think, have I gone too far?
Yeah, and then just after you turn off that road, it was just white with 2 footsteps in it. For quite a while then. Yeah. And that's really takes it out. Just cramping up, trying to get your feet out here. It's probably more my fault than anything else. Not eating and drinking properly.
Yeah, but in a race that goes on for as long as it does, like sometimes but a lot of people were sort of saying that they'd ran out of fuel like way earlier than they thought they would have because the effort level's so high that they're just taking in more calories and trying to get energy and then running out of food. Yeah,
and if you got aim to be at like Hebden for a certain time and then all of a sudden it's 2 hours later, you're running out of food again then. Yeah, unless you carry extra. But I was so paranoid about the weight of things in the pack, and then we got to Hebden and I'm just like shove this in. I just didn't want to be cold during the night. Yeah. So it was all pointless.
Wise choice. Yeah, you'd rather be warm, wouldn't you? Warm and slow than freezing cold. Yeah. Oh, well, you've done amazing, mate.
Cheers.
You've done brilliant. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
3rd place.
Nice.
One to remember.
Yeah, definitely.
Well done, mate.
Cheers.
So it sounds like they had a tough time out there. Let's listen to what the women had to say about their race. Let's talk to Alice Kershaw first, and then we'll talk to Charlotte Black.
Should I put my sunglasses on?
Right. Alice.
All right.
Alice Kershaw, first lady in Challengers South. How do you feel?
I'm very glad to have finished. It's that kind of end of a race thing where it already feels like it never happened, even though I can feel it in every muscle of my body.
You seem quite sprightly, actually.
It is the excitement of finishing. It was also really beautiful. Like, it was absolutely stunning out there, and like, it's such a massive privilege. Also, when I last did the Challenge South, it was that year where it was torrentially wet, so I did actually have genuine joy for like most of the first day at least of like the fact it wasn't torrentially wet.
Yeah.
So it makes a difference.
It's always a bonus on the spine, isn't it? It's not torrential rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you cope with the cold?
I was actually alright, to be fair. It wasn't actually that cold. I'm saying this knowing that I wore like 3 different coats, but like.
But when you're moving.
Yeah, when you're moving, you actually got quite warm. I didn't need gloves quite a lot of it, so it was actually fine. I was comfortable the whole time.
Yeah. And how was the Cam High Road?
You know what? That was actually a high point because.
Was it?
Yeah, because
you
I
knew
wasn't
you were
falling
almost
through the blimmin' snow crust onto it. I could see where the snow was. I was like, honestly, Cam High Road, delightful. You could get a nice fast clip on it. You knew where everything was. Fine.
You must be the only person in the history of the spine to say that they enjoyed the Cam High Road.
I did. It was comparative to. But yeah,
it's relative.
It was fine. I enjoyed it a lot more than I've ever enjoyed it before.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. What were the best bits then, and what were the worst bits?
I think the best bits were, the light of a kinder, light in the mornings, just being able to get that real sense of real like clarity over the snow. That was really stunning, like genuinely beautiful. And at one point where like loads of grouse flew overhead, which aren't a particularly like poetic bird, but they looked incredible. And actually, when we went round Montane, and it was really, really odd. Once again, like light conditions.
Yeah, quite scenic around there.
Yeah, but it was very dark, so it was kind of like weirdly oppressive. I was like, what is going on here? So yeah, there was definitely like an odd kind of light thing going on.
Yeah. So how were you feeling about doing other races now in the spine?
I like the idea of one that's, maybe not got waist deep snow in it. I'm like, because one of my friends was like, oh, you should just sign up for the like Yukon Arctic Ultra, and I was like, absolutely not. After this, about 10 minutes into this, I was like, absolutely not. So not that. Maybe some like spring races with like short ones where you've done in a day and you're just done. Maybe. Yeah. Obviously I'm not going to stick to that in the slightest.
Well, you've done amazing and you've won. What point in the race did you know that you were in first? Is it something that?
Well, my lovely friend Ian, who's also in the Stock Running Club, kept messaging me exactly where I was in the race and exactly where everyone else was in the race. So
you knew all along.
Really, I did appreciate it. If you was watching this, I did appreciate it, but I was a little bit too aware.
Yeah. Did you feel like a bit of pressure with that?
A bit and a bit not. Like everyone who does this is lovely. It's not like I'm not competitive particularly in that way. I want to push myself and see what I can do, and if that is also like something that Podium's brilliant, if it's not, that's also fine. Like I say, it'd be great if any of the rest of them got it too.
Yeah, amazing. Well, really proud of you, and as an avid listener to the podcast,
absolutely,
you'd be pleased to be on.
Yeah, I haven't even talked about my toes. I mean, that's your podcast thing. I'm not going to
save it for the big interview.
That's the goal.
Yeah, we'll get you booked in for next week. Alice, well done. It's amazing.
Thanks,
good job. Well done. Cheers.
Really appreciate it.
In worst state. Okay. Well done to Charlotte Black. Second place, joint second place, and Challenger South. So, how are you feeling about it now?
Delighted. I just had a complete adventure. But yeah, knackered.
Yeah. So you probably had the worst conditions that we've seen for a while on a race. Tell me about Fountains Foul.
It's going to take a wee while to process that one. It was really rough.
Yeah.
Just deep snow.
Yeah.
Deep snow.
How deep were the drifts?
Oh, I have no idea. There was drifts they would just cover you, but like the ones we were in were waist high.
Waist high.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was just no track, and you're just trying to follow the map and GPS where to go, and it was crazy. It's actually thinking back on it, it's quite
mental. Yeah. Were you sort of? Did you? Obviously, you buddied up together from Hebden, didn't you? So all three of you together from that point then?
No, me and Richard were together from Hebden.
Yeah.
We got to the food bit there, and there was a whole load of folk pulling out, withdrawing, and Richard said, "Oh, what are you thinking?" I said, "Oh, I didn't come here to not try it, so I'm going to keep going." He said, "Yeah, he was exactly the same," and he said, "Why don't we seem to run well together, let's buddy up," and then so we did that, and it worked really, really well. We were just really well matched, and then we were about I don't know, 10k from the end maybe, and Ali came up, and at that point we were both having a bit of a going the Cam Road, because it's awful, and I think it's awful on a good day maybe. Not that I've ever done it on a good day, but
I've done it on a good day, and it's awful.
And we were like, and Ali came up, and she was just like a breath of fresh air that spurred us
what
on,
you needed.
and we all worked really well down to the finish together, because it's actually quite tricky up there as well.
Was that like do you think subconsciously you wanted to buddy up? Just was it a safety thing as well, really, with the conditions that you're in?
Yeah, there was that. Well, I don't know if I should say this, but there was that when we another guy that we'd run with a few times, David. He ended up going on what's the hill called? When you asked me about it, I can't remember. Yeah, on his own, and I think he got really lost, and he was quite, it was. And I said I was quite surprised that they were letting folk go up on their own, because it was just that, it was that horrible. But it's hard to know what it's like.
It's one of those. I mean, it's just that's the thing with this race. It's just like the luck of the draw with the weather, and sometimes it can be like. Well, I'm sure there were points of it where it was stunning weather.
Oh, it was amazing. Like through the days, I never had a smile off my face. Just the blue sky and the snow. It was, even though it was hard going, it was just so
hard work. Yeah. Have you done any of the other races?
No. I followed the dots for I think it's over 10 years since one of my friends, Fran, did a race the first time, and then got hooked in every year, and so just to be running along thinking I was part of the spine.
So you're a dot watcher converted to a spine Podium.
I mean, I run ultras and stuff, but
Do you think that watching the race for so long has informed the way that you've approached it?
Yeah, definitely. Brilliant. It lived up to I don't know, it was everything. I just wanted a 2-day adventure and just something really different.
You definitely got that.
And it was certainly challenging. It's the hardest thing I've done, but race-wise.
But rewarding.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, thank you for giving us a bit of your time. I know you weren't that keen on being interviewed. So we appreciate it. And well done on a well-deserved second place. Well done.
And thanks to all the organisers and health marshals and everything. They're brilliant.
Yeah, couldn't do it without them. Absolutely.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much.
So if you were paying attention to episode 1 back at Edale, you will remember that we featured a very short interview before the start of Challenge South with Andrew Holt. Now, Andy is a mate of mine and a fan of the podcast. He's obsessed with podcasts. He'll be happy for you to know, especially mine. So we had a quick chat, and we discussed the fact that it was his third time lucky. It was third attempt at making it all the way to Hawes. So this time he actually did make it all the way here and finish this race. So let's have a chat with him and see how. Andrew Holt, welcome back to the podcast. So we first spoke in episode 1, where you were at the start at Edale, and you were about to attempt your third go at Challenger South. So we're here in Hawes, aren't we? So third time lucky?
Yeah, got it done this time. So
yeah, ironically in the worst weather ever, and you finished it.
The hardest conditions I've ever run in. It's crazy.
Do you hang on, let me put the mic in.
Might sound a bit better now. So what sort of challenges did you have to face?
There's basically snow and ice right down to road level, so there's no let up. There's ice on the roads, and then as you start going up, it's soft sort of soft, powdery snow, so it doesn't compact. So even like the people wearing spikes, they're getting not really any purchase in it. Your feet are moving around constantly, and all the big tops have got like thigh deep drifts on. So yeah, I mean the guys breaking trail must have had a nightmare, and even for us sort of following 20-30 runners behind, it's terrible. You're just dropping into your thighs. You run where you can, but some stuff you just can't run because of it. So you've got to basically manage your expectations immediately, so it doesn't mess with your head. It's a complete, I think, not compete. So
just get to the finish.
Yeah.
How did it feel, sort of getting past the point that where did you get to before on the previous races?
I got to Lonsdale one year and Gargrave the other, so yeah, it's quite good getting to Gargrave, I think. I just had the mindset I'll keep going until I crossed the line or got pulled off the course, so it worked, and got through with 12 hours to spare, so quite happy with that really, given the conditions.
So although I know we talked about the rough parts, what were your highlights of the route?
I mean, a bit sort of bittersweet really, but I guess Fountains Fell, it was, I mean everyone you speak to will tell you Fountains Fell was horrendous, but it was also, I think, the satisfaction from that challenge. And there was literally just 3 miles of waist deep snow, and you're sinking in constantly, so by the time you get to the top you're sat, and then coming down a lot of the paths are banked out, so they're trying to push you towards the edge, so you have to sort of improvise a bit with your poles. There's like a mini ice axe to keep you from slipping, so yeah, I think it's probably one of the highlights.
So what's next?
Where'd you go from that?
Well, you go to the full, don't you? Or you go to Challenge North, or you go to the full.
Yeah, I've got a 100-mile in the Beacons booked in July, so I think that'll be my next one for this year. So get me plenty of time to recover.
And what about coming back to the Spine?
Yeah, to be honest, I've got no plans at the moment. I think if circumstances allowed, I might do the full, but at the moment they don't, so it's a big time commitment away from your family, so I'm not saying no, but you never know.
You never know. Well, Andy, appreciate you coming on and talking to the podcast and letting us know that you got here safe after a very long journey. Well done, mate.
All right, cheers.
So at this year's Winter Spine Race, there's obviously been a lot of attention on the women's race, and quite rightly so. They deserve the attention. But while the women's, the full race is taking place, the full Spine, we also have Challenger North taking place, and we have some female contenders that are taking part in that. So we have Nicki Spinks and we have Samantha Lissauer. So Nicki, I spoke to Nicki yesterday, and she told me about her experiences at last year's race, and we talked about why she's returning to take on Challenger North. We then speak to Mum and hard-working ultra runner Samantha Lissauer about her experiences and the race ahead. So stay tuned, watch these interviews.
Okay, welcome to the Ultra Running Sam takeover of the Spine Race podcast, or however we're terming it. So Nicki, we're in Hardraw. I'll remind you of the first time that we met, and it was actually here. So I was doing Challenger North in the summer, and you were on the checkpoint, and the heavens opened up.
Yeah.
The torrential rain came down, and I said to you, I wish I was a volunteer at this point. And I think you just laughed at me, I think.
It was like all of us huddled in the tent before we started you off.
Yes, that
in
was
the
it.
torrential rain.
And here we are again, but the last time I saw you in between was we were both doing the full Winter Spine last year. So now you're doing Challenger North. So what's is this just sort of just ticking off different races for you, or is there a special reason why you want to come and do this one because your connection to volunteering here?
I think to get here, it always just seemed like the warm up to me. And then when I got here, or when I got past, because the snow came when I was on Hike Up Nick, and then I was a bit wiped after that. And then I couldn't enjoy any of I wasn't really running much, and I couldn't enjoy it. My brain fog kicked in. So it just felt like I didn't really experience the second half like I was really hoping to, because I didn't end up in the fit state to do it. So I just want to come back and also, I mean, it took me quite a long time to recover from the full spine. It was probably March, which I don't want that every year. I don't, I'm 57 and I don't want to be recovering into sort of March, May, having trudged. And I'm so glad with these snow conditions that I'm not down there somewhere floundering through snow. I'm not a great fan of snowing, to be honest.
Yeah. I heard of Mark Derbyshire was talking about wading through snow, like waist deep snow. So yeah, it's been nice. Are you worried that you're going to be trampling down the path for the full spiners though?
Could be, but it's already warming up today, and so the snow's quite squishy now already and a bit soggy, and so a few footprints on it would squash it down quite quickly, I think. So it's probably best to be at the back of the pack when you set off on Monday. And then it's going to rain on Monday, so warm rain hopefully gets rid of snow.
Yeah, but you've this isn't your first rodeo, is it? You've done this race many times before. So are there any bits so you are looking forward to certain parts of this course then that you've missed when you've been in a bad state before then?
Yeah, well, I mean, Crossfell was just horrendous last year, because then, I wasn't breaking trail because I was at the back. Ian Keith was breaking trail, seemed to know where he was going, even though we couldn't see a thing. But so, I mean, Crossfell's never lovely. So I'm probably just, Hike Up Nick, that would be nice. It would be nice to even see a path and see the valley, depending on what time of day I get there. Yeah. But to see some ground even, because it was just all a big snow fest.
Yeah, so I think I was obviously slower than you, and when I got to Hike Up Nick, it was morning and it was clear and you could see it, and it's the first time I've seen Hike Up Nick on a race before. And Crossfell was blue skies, and so I've got some great photos of that. But that is the thing about this race, isn't it? That even in the same race, people can have completely different weather conditions.
Yeah, because the people who got through earlier didn't get any snow. Well, maybe on the Cheviots they got it, but then when you got to the Cheviots, there wasn't actually as much snow as what there was on Crossfell. So, and actually driving down today, it's been interesting because I've just been to Kirkgetholm, so there's not actually that much snow there, so they didn't get that much, so it's quite nice. And the warm weather is moving south. Strangely, it's actually starting in Scotland and moving south, so I'm hoping to warm up as I go north.
Warm up as you go. Amazing. So obviously this year there is a lot of attention on the women's races, quite rightly, obviously. What's your sort of viewpoint? Is this sort of, obviously it's a long time coming that women get recognised in the sport, because it has been like a middle-aged male dominated sport, whether we like it or not, for a long time, but obviously that isn't the case now, is it?
No. I mean, you got Jack Scott last year with the men, but no, it's brilliant. I mean, I'm so glad I'm still. Well, I wouldn't be competing with five of those women that have started on the spine. But it's really good to see that there's a women's really, a good competition out there. I mean, and there was last year. So yeah, it's good. And I think I can't remember where I came overall, but they come quite high up, because the thing with women is we just keep going at the same pace usually.
Yeah, a bit smarter than men.
A bit more planning.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm conscious that I don't want to keep you for too long, because you've done your kit check, and have you done your kit check?
Yeah,
you've done kit check, and you're ready to go and relax now. So Nicki Spinks, I appreciate you coming and talking to us. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you.
It's great. So I appreciate you sort of coming on and talking to my viewers and my listeners about what you're about to do. So you're no stranger to the spine race, are you? So last year you won Challenger South, didn't you?
Yeah.
So how did you find that race?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I was really I think I was quite worried coming into it, just about the kit. It was the longest I'd ever run. I just moved back from living in Malawi and had not really been through a British winter for a long time, so that was all a bit of a challenge. But I actually really enjoyed it, and everyone was so supportive, and it was just such a great atmosphere. It felt like everybody was wanting you to sort of get to the end. And I did it, and I was so delighted that I finished it, and you know, and did well in it, that I was like, I did say to myself, I'm never doing this again though. So I can't quite remember exactly when that turned, but it definitely did.
Sometimes it could be hours, sometimes it can be days.
It was definitely more than a few hours.
Normally a couple of days.
Yeah,
and then you
exactly.
Decide, I can do that. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had something similar. I did the full winter spine last year, and my wife videoed me promising to not do it again, and because I didn't want to do it again. But then as the year's gone on, I'm like, I really want to do it again.
Yeah.
But so you doing the Challenger North then, is this all part of a master plan to do the full race?
So I love the idea of moving north up the Pennine Way, and when you look at a map of England and there's this beautiful line that goes up the middle of it, so I'm really keen to just do the northern part of the course, and I think it's probably a sensible stepping stone to do 100 and then 160 before you go on to do the full thing. So probably in time. I'm sure that's what.
So have you managed to recce parts of the route then?
So I recce'd most of the route now. So I'm very good friends with Hannah Rickman, who's doing the full course, and we recce'd quite a lot of the northern bit last year when she was recceing it, and then I went on a really fab weekend with a load of amazing women in November where we recce'd quite a lot of the northern course as well, and so that was totally fab, because now I've got loads of memories from that, which I think will be so nice.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, so there's a few bits I've not recce'd, but I'm hoping that will be okay.
If you know the gist of it, then
know the gist. I know approximately where I'm going, heading towards.
Head up that hill. Head up that hill to Great Shunnerfell.
Right, over that one first.
And that's
Not that you can see it right now. It all looks very.
No, it is actually. It's disappeared, hasn't it? Into the everything's gone white.
It does all look very, very docile currently.
So this I heard you speaking to Will earlier, and you mentioned about sort of keeping in touch with the women on the big race. So obviously there is a lot of attention this year, quite rightly, with the women's race getting the attention. Not that it never got the attention before, but it's been highlighted a lot this year. Women doing great things. So is this? You mentioned about getting in touch with. Is there a WhatsApp group between all of you?
There is. There is. Well, the people who went on the weekend, we've sort of stayed in touch with each other, and that's been really, really nice. I've done a few other sort of runs together and things, and it's just been really lovely to be part of such a supportive group of people who are sort of all in it together, really. Which has been really nice.
We're all facing similar challenges, aren't you? I heard you mention about the kids and everything. So how do your kids feel about you taking this race on? Because it's a step up from the 100 miler.
So I think they're a bit more disappointed this year because they can't come, because it's in the middle of the school week, so they've got to go to school. Last year they could come out onto the course and see me and be there at the end, and they love being part of that. But they're going to have to dot watch from home this time. But they're going to see me off tomorrow morning, which will be really nice. Good. I think they sort of got a bit. Mum's doing some crazy adventure again. A bit blasé about it. But I think it's really important for me to be able to get out there and show them that. I'm in my 40s. I'm not past it yet. I'm still able to take on new things and take on challenges, and that's really important. I've got a daughter and two sons, and I think it's good to show them you can do hard things.
It's a great example to them, and to show that you can overcome challenges and get a good result.
Exactly.
Right, well, wish you all the best with the race tomorrow, so appreciate you coming and having a chat with us, and
thank you.
Look forward to seeing you at the end.
Thanks very much. And you, take care.
Cheers.
Obviously we can't leave the men out, can we? So Challenger North this year features John Shield, the legend of the spine, John Shield. So I spoke to John while he was late for kit check in the classic relaxed John style. The registration of kit check closed at 4 p.m. and he arrived at 5:15, nice and chilled out. But basically he was still gluing and rebuilding his poles, ready for putting an extra basket on his Leki poles to let him be able to power his way through the snow on Challenger North. So let's see what John had to say about his race upcoming for today.
I'm here with John Shield. The night before
the fun starts.
Yeah. Challenging North. Into Challenging North. He's doing some last minute prep, sorting his poles out, getting those big baskets on there so that he can power his way through the snow that's up on Great Shinner Fell.
He hopes. It could go very wrong.
I'm sure it won't, mate. Seasoned pro now.
We will see.
That does seem to be the best way for him to go there. And then glue them in there.
So, if not, it'll be a case of
this is real behind the scenes footage, what it takes to do one of these races.
Although I've never done this before, so
it was the first time for everything. How are we feeling confidence wise with your training and stuff going into it?
yeah, I feel good actually. You know, you can say you can have long races and not enough rest, but actually I think I did a lot of long races last year, whether they were just like training races from injury or from, you know, actually racing and racing well. So I had a couple of different kind of races because a couple I had planned were more like training runs because I was marking beyond the ultimate course and damaged my leg, which I couldn't do anything for weeks before UTS 100 miler. So I was waiting for a scan and didn't get the news until a few days before
Remember
UTS.
that, yeah.
So I just pretty much used it as a training time out, practicing, lack of sleep, and just enjoying it. It was nice to enjoy it. I really enjoyed it, and it wasn't that bad. But it's very different to then sort of raced the 100 miler Penlyn and came second there. And that was good because I ran well for probably 70 miles and then the tanks just emptied. But again, that was probably fatigue from UTS. And then obviously I did Challenging North last year, which was, again, went into it not having really trained for a while. I was on the bike because of the Achilles that I had. That was a problem. Tried to go well at start and just the Achilles flared up on all the downslopes, so that became more just complete it, enjoy it, try and learn a bit of the route. And I really enjoyed it as well because the pressure was kind of off. I just went out, but I got a lot of big long races in with the desert as well and Dragon's Back, which were great races for me. So it gave me confidence. My feet didn't give me any issues. Body held up really well. Probably wasn't as fit as I'd like to be for Dragon's Back, but I was resilient, so that was good. And it was a distance that I hadn't done in 6 days before, 240 odd miles and like double Everest, to then go and do that. The full spine summer didn't go to plan, stomach bug, but I felt great. I felt in really good shape for that till checkpoint 1, and just after that, unfortunately, it was over. But so I've had a lot of experience in the last year, a lot of distances, and so the body should be good for doing the longer stuff. It's just tactics, how you manage, plan, kit, making good decisions for the spine race. It's not how fit you are, it's how robust you are, mentally strong, getting the kit right, say using your judgment, not trying to go off stupidly when conditions don't sort of give you the ability to do that anyway. It's a different race this year, so you have to be smart about it.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how you do, mate. All the best.
Yeah, cheers.
Hope it goes well.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Finally, for today, Monday. It's still Monday morning, so this morning I was up at the youth hostel, which is CP2 for the main spine race. And while I was there, Kim Collison came flying through, and he graced us with a few minutes just chatting on camera while he had some food. Now, his strategy, we know before, has been to sort of breeze through checkpoint 2 at Hawes, but this time he's got a different strategy and he decided he was going to have a sleep. So we'll see how that pans out, but this was my very brief chat with Kim in the checkpoint.
How are you feeling?
A little tired, a little bit worked. Snow is exciting and deep and hard work. I mean, it was pretty spot on this morning. I mean, yesterday morning, should I say? When the trail had been put, and it was still quite hard. And then when it warmed up, it was tougher going. And then the drifts.
I've heard about the drifts. Yeah.
The drifts are hard.
Yeah. Well, you're making good progress.
Yeah.
And you're going to stick to your plan that you've been working out for sleep strategy and everything to sleep here and then push on stronger later on.
Yeah. I just want to get over I don't want to make the same mistake 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
So I need to change something.
Yeah.
And while I've got here in the lead, I may as well try this strategy.
Yeah. Bank some sleep time and then push on stronger. Yeah. Well, I hope that the strategy works for you. I'm sure it will.
Yeah, thank you.
All the best, Kim. Appreciate you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Okay, so that brings us to the end of episode 3 of the Ultra Running Sam podcast. So keep tuned and keep your eyes peeled for episode 4 coming very soon.